Hello, everybody. I'm pleased to present you my subject, which is called Synthesis of a Bio-based Polyester Acrylic Resin Cross-linked under UV. So I am Anne-Sophie Schuller, and I am an assistant professor in LPIM, so the Laboratory of Photochemistry and Macromolecular Engineering in Mulhouse, France. This subject is a work with a PhD student and three of my colleagues from LPIM. So I will introduce the subject first with a short introduction, and then I will speak about the synthesis of oligomers. Then I will talk about the influence of the structure of the oligomer we made, and then I will conclude. So the context of this project, it's a work with an industrial partner, and the aim is to find some substitute from petroleum products. We want to minimize the energy consumption of the synthesis and also reduce the toxicity. So we choose to polymerize the resin under UV, so we use the photopolymerization process. And what is also interesting here is that we don't use any COV, so we don't use solvent to make the synthesis. If you want to decrease the viscosity, for example, we will use reactive diluent. And one other another goal for this project is to use bio-based products. So here, just a definition of the biomass and the bio-based product. So the biomass it's a material of biological origin, excluding material integrated into geological or fossilized formation. And the bio-based product is produced entirely or partially from biomass. Okay? So here it's just an example of how we calculate the biosource carbon content of our product. Okay, so we use this equation. Okay, and here I just put you an example using the dimethacrylate glycidyl ether isosorbide. Okay, and here in this example, if we have 100% of resin, including 20 grams of EIGMA, we obtain a formulation with 6% bio-based compound. Okay. So then we will have to choose some specific symptom of biomass-specific symptom in our subject, and so we will integrate them identical to the petroleum sources. So we will study the symptom effect on coating properties. Here it's an example of different pathway to get some symptoms, some biomass symptoms. So for example, if we start from starch or cellulose, we can have glucose. And if we have glucose, we can have different monomer or molecules. And for example, this way, we get a glucital, and then we can reach the isosorbide molecule. Okay, and this monomer is very interesting for our product, for our polyester resin. Another way to get other symptoms is this one. With a bacterial fermentation, for example. So here we can reach carboxylic acid and also a butanediol. In this way, for example, with ethanol, we can have ethylene glycol and then also polyethylene glycol. So here you can have from glucose different molecule, biosource molecule. And it's very interesting for our project because everything is biosource. And so we can use the isosorbide as a hard segment and also some diacid and diol as a soft segment for our polyester resin. So here we have azelaic acid, adipic acid, succinic acid as diacid and also polyethylene glycol or butanediol as diol. So it is very interesting to use the isosorbide, as I said, because it's a rigid segment. It has a good thermal resistance, a good transparency, and a good mechanical resistance. Moreover, this product is produced from Roquette with each French industry. For the soft segment, the diacid or this diol we can reach some properties as flexibility, biocompatibility, adhesion, or hydrophobic for our resin. So for the synthesis of oligomer, I will present first how we get the resin. So as I said, we use the isosorbide, and we will mix with a different diol and different diacid. Okay, so here we can reach different properties and different structure of our polyester. So we made a classical esterification, okay, and we choose to use a molar ratio of 1 for 1.3 diacid, okay. And we use more isosorbide compared to diol because we want to have something rigid. Okay, a polyester resin need to get a certain rigidity. Then after that, after the esterification, we made an acrylation. In the introduction, I said that we want to use a photopolymerization process, so we need to use an acrylic chloride, okay, to get polyester with some acrylates on it to can have a photopolymerization. And then we made a purification of our product. And then we characterize it. So here is, for example, two resin we made. And here you can have one with a diacid and isosorbide, which is and with acrylate, and the other one with a butanediol, diacid, and acrylate. These products were analyzed with SEC, and also we measure the acid number. It's a classical way to know the conversion of resin. Now here you have the data, and here is another polyester which we reach, and also we analyze it with SEC, and we calculate the acid number. So you can see here that we synthesize different oligomer, and we can have a low polydispersity because it's lower than 2. The molar mass were overvalued by SEC, and we have an acid value between 65 and 76. Sorry. Okay, so when we have our product, we analyze it with NMR. And here you have the spectra in CDCl3. Here you have the information about the acrylate. Here for the diol. And here for the isosorbide. So we can analyze our product under NMR, and then we also see that we have some monofunctional isosorbide left. Here is a summary of what we analyze, and we can determine the NMR composition of our polymer we get, and we calculate also the bio-new carb content. So we have a good integration of isosorbide because we are more isosorbide. And also we have here for the 3 here a low isosorbide integration. Then we characterize it with Reomet, and also we made DSC to characterize the TG of our material. So what we can see that we have different TG numbers, and what we have is that we have an increase in the diacid. When we have an increase in the diacid chain, we have a lower viscosity, and TG which decrease. So then the influence of the structure of the property. So we made some formulation in which we analyze it if it's absorbed or not under UV. Okay, so we use a spectrophotometer, and so we add our sample, and here on the graph you see that no sample absorbed UV, so it's okay for us, and we choose a photoinitiator type 2 to make the photopolymerization. Here we use the ITX, and you see that the ITX absorb at different wavelengths from 350 to 400. Okay, and the LED we use absorb at 395 nanometer. So it's good because the photoavancer will absorb, and none of our oligomer will absorb. So we can have a reaction. Here we made real-time infrared. So what we can have with this device is that we follow the conversion with time, and what we can see is that we have early vitrification when we use isosorbide, and when we add the polyethylene glycol, we have a better mobility, so the viscosity decrease, so we reach a better conversion of our product. What can we see here is when we add some spacer, when the spacer C6 compared to the spacer C9, for example, we see that we don't have the same conversion at the end. So the mobility is blocked by the polyethylene glycol, but also by the diacid. As you see here, the conversion increase when we add the diacid. Here we check if we have a good rate of polymerization. And what we can see here too is that when we add the butanediol or the diacid chain, we can have a better rate polymerization. So we have an increase of speed with by the length of the diacid, but also by the polyethylene glycol. We analyze it then with DMA. Here is just an example of what we can have with the TG, the onset, the T alpha, and also the maximum tangent delta. So we analyze it with the introduction of a spacer, which increases the conversion. Here you see that we use a butanediol, polyethylene glycol, compared to the one with no one. What we can have is a lower thermal resistance, but a higher cross-linking when we add a spacer. Here, when we compare the spacer, we can have a lower thermal resistance and a shorter vitrification, with a shorter diacid. Here we can have all the data summarized in this graph. So we can say that we can reach tunable properties to different applications, We have also limitation of the conversion. And in this case, we have high viscosity coatings because we only use the polyester resin and we don't use yet reactive diluent. So, to conclude, here we have synthesized some different acrylate polyester with different diacid, different glycol. What we can have is different properties, and we can observe the effect of the structure on these properties. We photopolymerize it under UV and UV LED. What is very interesting, it reacts quite well, and the next steps are for our subject is to use other symptoms and other for art segment to change of the isosorbide, and also maybe to use an enzyme polymerization to have a better low-heating and acrylation solvent, and also to have better properties. But we will also use some diluent reactive to get lower viscosities, to get some good polyester resin. Thank you for your attention.